Hey everyone, welcome to another episode of AdMail. This is Adam Bergman, founder and CEO of IRA Financial. I'm here to help you find the answers to the most frequently asked questions from my clients about self-directed retirement accounts. If you want to learn more, you can subscribe to our YouTube channel and follow us on social media. Just search IRA Financial. Hey everyone, Adam Bergman here, tax attorney and founder of IRA Financial. Welcome to another episode of AdMail. Today's podcast, I'm going to tackle three really interesting questions. One about charging orders in a Nevada IRA LLC. How's that work? Second is a grantor trust. Do they have to file a BOI with the CTA, Beneficial Ownership Interest Form, under the Corporate Transparency Act? We'll see. And then thirdly, the Mega Backdoor Roth. Can you move it from your employer to a solo 401k if you're self-employed? So pretty well diverse set of questions. So buckle up. Give me about 8 to 10 minutes. I'm going to teach you everything you need to know about these three specific questions. So first question is from May C. Can you draft your Nevada IRA LLC operating agreement to include a charging order? We do, and we can, and we will. And the way the Nevada has very strong provisions for protecting LLC members against charging orders. A charging order basically is a court order that essentially allows a creditor to kind of come into the LLC. But the way Nevada is that essentially from a charging order perspective, the creditor is only going to get a membership LLC interest. It's not going to give them really any control over the management of the LLC, which is kind of unique. Obviously, you need to get a charging order is a court decree, but it's much in terms of Nevada. There's limitations in terms of what a charging order can do. Because otherwise, in most states, if you have a charging order, you can basically participate in the LLC. But the only in Nevada, it's one of the few states where they can't participate in the management. So you can basically stop distributions and essentially freeze them out. Where in some other states, it's a lot harder. So yeah, we've drafted and we will draft operating agreements if you are interested in asset creditor protection for your IRA LLC and you want charging order language put in and Nevada operating agreement, we can help you with that, which makes Nevada somewhat attractive for certain folks. So we can absolutely take care of that, and no additional fee. That's part of our service. We'll help customize the operating agreement for you with respect to your self-directed IRA investment. I think it's one of the million things why IRA Financial stands out is not only do we set up the whole self-directed IRA, but we'll customize the operating agreement, help you structure, design, we record keep, and we also provide annual consulting, tax filings, and tax reporting, whether it's partnership returns, 990Ts for UBIT, 1099Rs, 5498s, we do it all. So you come to the right place. Second question from Zach T. If I have a grantor trust, do I have to file a BOI under the CTA? A lot of three-letter words. Beneficial owner's interest is a BOI. CTA is the Corporate Transparency Act, which starting in 2024, any new entity formed has 90 days to file a beneficial ownership interest form with FinCEN, which basically anyone who owns more than 25%, it's not tax exempt, or anyone who has substantial control over the enterprise. There's exceptions, for example, for tax exempts, exceptions for trusts. So a trust does not have to file a CTA, a BOI with the CTA, because it's not an entity formed with the state. A trust is a private agreement between a grantor, trustee, and the beneficiary. So it's a private document, doesn't get filed with the state. It's not needed in terms of creating a trust. You don't go to the Secretary of State's website or office to file it. You can literally create a trust document on a napkin with you and your friends. So a trust, a grantor trust, irrevocable, revocable trust, even a trust that the grantor is the IRA and the beneficiary is the IRA, does not have to file a BOI with the CTA. But if you do an LLC, a corporation, C Corp, S Corp, partnership, any for-profit company, even if the IRA is the owner or the 401k, technically a BOI report has to be filed by not the owner, because the IRA or retirement account is exempt, but it has to be filed on the person that has control over the entity, which is generally the IRA owner. So that's kind of how the BOI would work, is you would provide information on the IRA owner, since they would have substantial control over the enterprise, over the entity. Not the BOI wouldn't be triggered by the 25% or more ownership. It'd be triggered by having the control over the entity. Third and final question of today's podcast from YouTube. Hi, I work with a company that allows me to do a Mega Backdoor Roth. I'm also self-employed, but have very little income. Can I move the Mega Backdoor Roth contributions to a solo K? So it's a great question. Not a lot of companies, large companies, allow their employees to do what's called a Mega Backdoor Roth, which is essentially, in the 401k world, a opportunity to put away in 2024 $69,000 all in Roth, dollar for dollar, or $76,500 all in Roth, dollar for dollar, if you're over 50. The reason most large companies can't do it, and even IRA Financial, almost 90 or so people in our plan, why we can't do it is because there is certain ERISA testing known as top heavy or deferral percentage, and the after-tax contributions to Roth are tested separately than employee deferrals and profit sharing. So if you don't have enough people participating in the Mega Backdoor, or too many high income earners, people that make over 155,000 in 2024, not enough rank and file employees, it's going to fail the top heavy test or the ADP test. You're not going to be able to do it. But I assume this individual is able to do it, and that's great. If you're able to do it, then the after-tax contributions, before you convert to Roth, you can move them to a solo K, because the after-tax contributions are not considered employee deferrals or profit sharing, so they're not subject to a triggering event rule. Whereas if they were just employee deferrals or profit sharing, you wouldn't be able to move them out of the plan until you're 59 and a half years old, or you leave your job. But the after-tax contributions can be moved to a solo K or Roth IRA and then converted to in the Roth IRA or into the Roth solo 401k. So as long as you have a side business, doesn't have to be a Google. You could basically be selling coffee or lemonade or providing services. I have a client that's Santa Claus in a mall for 6 weeks a year, makes a couple grand. He's self-employed, right? It just can't be a hobby, right? Like my kids, they trade baseball cards or buy football cards online for fun. Like that's not a business. But if you're doing consulting and you're selling bathrobes online, whatever the case may be, you kind of know when you're in business. It doesn't have to be your full-time business. You could be an executive at Tesla, but you do consulting on AI on the side. You have a side business, even if it only makes $1,000 or 50K. And then that side business, as long as you have the right plan that allows for Mega Backdoor Roths like IRA Financials, you'd be able to move the after-tax contributions from your XYZ company plan to the solo K and then do the Roth. And why you'd want to do that is our solo plans will let you do alternative asset investments like real estate, or you can do cryptos or something that your 401k plan at work won't let you do. Even private placements, private business stocks, hedge funds, private equity funds, hard money loans, right? Anything that's not publicly traded, your employer is not going to let you do. Or if you did it in a self-directed solo K through IRA Financial, you would be able to do it. So you have more investment options and more diversification. So to answer your question, yes, you can do it. You don't have to, doesn't have to be a $1 billion business. You could be an Uber driver, right? Or a DoorDash driver. Just need to have a side gig where you're selling a widget or providing a service. And then you can use that and that business, whether it's sole proprietor, an LLC or corp, so long as there's no full-time employees, other than the owners or their spouses. So no one that works more than 1,000 hours or 3 consecutive years of 500 hours or more, that's not an owner or the owner's spouse, then you're good to go. You can set up the solo K. It could receive the Mega Backdoor, and then you could do real estate, use leverage without triggering the UBIT tax. If you don't need to do real estate, you can also move it into a Roth IRA and then do a self-directed Roth IRA to buy Bitcoin or other investments. But the reason a lot of investors want to get into the solo K, especially if you're in real estate, is under section 514C9 of the tax code, there's an exemption for a 401k that uses a non-recourse loan to buy real estate. There's no tax known as unrelated business income tax, which can go as high as 37%. Where if you did that same deal in a Roth IRA or an IRA, the UBIT tax would be triggered on the debt finance portion of the deal, which could be 30-40% of the income or gains that could be subject to a maximum tax rate of 37%. So for real estate investors, the ability to do the mega backdoor from their employer, get it into a Roth SOL, and then do real estate and use leverage, non-recourse leverage, a loan you do not personally guarantee, but leverage nonetheless, is super exciting and tax advantageous. So thank you to May, thank you to Zach, thank you to individual on YouTube. Three, I think, very interesting, well, diverse questions. So I hope you guys enjoyed today's podcast. Please, good review, good rating will help boost the podcast, allow more people to listen to it. If you're watching on YouTube, thumbs up would be cool. I really appreciate it. I hope you guys enjoyed the podcast today. It was a fun one, and definitely be on the lookout next week. Another exciting AdMail will drop. So without further ado, that's another AdMail in the bag. Have an amazing rest of your day. Thanks for listening or watching, and I'll see everyone again next week. Ciao.